In today's video, I am going to be breaking down some of the most popular and best high school basketball plays that I have seen over the last few years. Some of these are very popular, you may have seen them before, while some are a little bit more rare to see, but still very, very useful. So let's get down, let's check this out. But really quickly, I am going to be showing quite a bit of horns in this video, so definitely go check out my high school horns basketball playbook that is down in the description below if you want some killer basketball plays. And if you like the idea of me writing on this app, make sure to go check out the link for Playbook that is down in the description below for 10% off. So literally one of the most popular plays in high school basketball right now. I think this is used by literally every team. There might be only one team in the entire world that doesn't use it. And that is player 3 is going to use 5 and 4 as a screen, and player 2 is going to clear out to the opposite side. Now when this happens, obviously 2 could be an option for player 1 to pass to, especially if the defense loads up on this side if you've ran it quite a few times. But the number 1 option is for player 1 to pass to player 3. Now there's 2 different options that come out from this. So I've seen some teams run it so that now player 3 can attack or take the 3, or player 5 sets the screen on this side, he rolls towards that high post and player 4 clears. If this is the case, then player 3 can shoot, drive, or pass over to player 5 for the mid-range shot, depending on how defenses play you. Now, that's one of the ways that I've ran it. Another way is after player 1 makes this pass, player 5 sets the back screen, player 1 then uses that screen, and 5 pops for the 3, and if player 5 gets it, he can take the 3. The other option is to pass to player 1 who's cutting to the rim, or you can set up in the 5 out, which is another great option. You can get the 5 out complete guide down in the description below. I just like to use that as a backup option to set plays that blow up. But what I really like to see is if player 5 gets this ball, 2 as well as 4 will come together for the elevator screen for player 1, and this can be that secondary or last option before we switch into a 5 out. Another very popular play, now I would say this is probably more popular in the States, but player 5 is going to set that screen for player 1. Player 1 is going to try and attack the paint. But when this happens, player 4 is setting the screen for player 5, so that now player 1 has the option to pass the player 5, score himself, or depending on what other defenses are doing, he could kick out to player 3, but that's only if his man comes in for help, which he shouldn't. One of the most popular plays right now, especially at the college level, but we are seeing it in the high school level as well, is a pass either towards the left or right, but let's just say for argument's sake it's to the left side. It's called zoom, and basically what it is after that pass, the point guard and the wing will set the screen for, or a staggered screen essentially, for player 2. Now, when this happens, what we're generally going to see is player 5 roll to the basket, player 1 pop out to the perimeter. Now, when this happens, player 4 has the number 1 option, which is to pass to player 2. Backup option is to hit player 5. Player 2 could also hit player 5 with a pass as well. And if that play gets broken up, you can reset into 5 out, or player 5 can set the screen for the ball handler. You can set an off-ball screen for player 3. Just do something because you're stuck in the key. Your momentum is already taking you in this direction anyways. So in my opinion, now this is my opinion, this is not something that I see a lot of teams doing, but if your momentum's taking you this way, why would you stop and clear to the opposite side? Why not create something for your teammates? And in this case, you can set the screen for player 3. Now, player 5 can pop to the corner, player 3 can continue through if that pass is not open. I've also seen in horns that same play happens. So player 1 in this case will dribble over towards the left side, player 4 and 5 will set up the staggered screen, player 3 comes off. You can set it up in horns as well. I've seen this actually quite a bit. Now, I'm not too sure if it's just because of me being in Canada, but this next play is something that I've seen a lot. And I've seen it literally on, I would say, 3/4 of the USBA teams this year have ran this same exact play. They kind of put in different wrinkles after the main part, but the main part at the beginning is the same. Player 5 is going to cut, and then player 1 is going to head over, and player 3 is going to head over for a dribble handoff. So player 5 cuts, player 1 and player 3 come together for the dribble handoff. At this time, player 5 is going to then clear out, and player 1 is going to roll to the basket while player 3 dribbles up top. Now when this happens, he could be hitting player 1 with a pass. If he doesn't, player 5 lifts, player 1 goes out. Now you can do the exact same play on this side. Now, this is when the different wrinkles come in. So, obviously, this is what we just did. This is exactly what we just did. Now, the secondary wrinkles. I have seen some teams, player 3 hangs out in the opposite side low post. Instead of having player 5 cut and player 1 lift, what we have instead is player 2 will make that quick pass over to player 5, and player 3 will then set that screen wherever that help defender is, so generally around there. Player 2 is going to set up a staggered screen, and player 4 is going to be coming off for that potential 3-point shot. I've seen this quite a bit. And then player 3 can slip off that screen and be potentially open for a layup depending on how the defense is playing this situation. And my fifth and final play is probably one of the easiest plays, and I've actually used this with every team I've coached over the last 3 years. Even the teams I've been an assistant coach on to help out my nephew, every team, literally every team I've seen over the last 3 years, including my own teams, run this play. And it's pretty darn well unstoppable. Player 5 and 4 set pin down screens. On my U13 team, which would be 12U in the States, we called this pin down because you're setting pin down screens, quite obvious. So we set those screens. Player 3 and player 2 come up. Now this is when every team has a different wrinkle. This is generally to be able to get a player open or a specific situation. One wrinkle that I really like is, let's say player 1 passes to player 3. Player 2 cuts. When he cuts, player 1 is setting the screen for player 4. So now, player 2 is cut, 1 is setting that screen, and then player 2 cuts or fills out. Now, player 2 could be open for the pass, and then, let's say, player 3 passes to player 4. We want that swing to go quickly over to player 1. Player 3 cuts, and because we keep on swinging it past this imaginary middle line, defenses get mixed up. He could be open. If he's not, player 4 sets that screen. Player 5 uses that screen. Player 3 pops out. Now player 5 gets that pass. Player 4 gets that pass. Player 1 cuts. Again, looking here. Player 5 sets the screen away. Player 2 gets it. Again, pass up to player 2. Again, we're never going to yell at a player for not taking a wide open 3 because that's what this does. It gets you a lot of wide open 3s, but it gives you a lot of options. Another wrinkle that I really like in that same play with these pin down screens is player 3, 2 lift. These guys fill out. When that happens, we have a dribble handoff with player 1 and 3 as an example. And then at this time, player 1 will roll. Player 3 will dribble out. He could hit player 1 with a pass. If that's not open, 4 lifts, 1 fills out. And now we're going into another dribble handoff on this side, and it just continues through with weave. So it's a pin down into weave. I hope that these plays help your team win more games. If they do, hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure to go check out the app because, of course, this is absolutely fantastic if you're a basketball coach. And also, make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense. That's going to give you some simple, easy offenses to run. And, of course, more advanced too. But also make sure to go check out my Horns High School Basketball Playbook because those are some very deadly plays that you can incorporate into your team. Anyways, I'll see you guys again in my next video.